Dear viewers, my name is Christy Olusoyo. I'm here to take you on English. And our topic today is formal letter. But before we continue, we are going to look into 4 objectives. Number 1 objective, definition of formal letter. Number 2 objective is going to be measuring of what types of formal letter. Then number 3, the features of formal letters. While the number 4 is how to write a formal letter. Okay, I hope we are clear with that. Take note of that. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to define what a formal letter is, then give us examples of formal letter, then features of formal letter, and write a good formal letter for us. Okay, now what is formal letter? Formal letter is a letter that is written for an official purpose. Formal letter is a letter that is written for an official purpose. Formal letter is a letter that is written for an official purpose. I hope you get that. I repeat, formal letter is a letter that is written for an official purpose. Now we have examples of formal letters. What are these examples of formal letters? Number 1, letters to educational institution. Letters to what? Educational institutions. And when we say letters to educational institutions, we are talking about letters to the rectors, principals, vice chancellor, head teachers, so on and so forth. Then 2, another example is letters to the government, that is the official people. Who are these government people we are talking about? We are talking about the presidents, the governor, the senators, and the House of Representatives. All these ones are our official governments. So formal letters are written to them. Then the 3rd examples, we have letters to the head of companies. When we talk about letters to the head of companies, we are talking about the managing directors, the general directors, the managing personnel. All these ones are what? Head of what? Companies. Then another one is letters for application. Now, when you want to get a job, what you need to do is to do what? Write a letter to apply for the job you are trusting God for. When you are looking for a job, you have to do what? Write a letter. Now, when you look at all these things that I have mentioned, these examples that I have mentioned, you discover that all these examples boil down on what? Official purpose. They are on business studies today, we are going to be looking at personal finance. I said we are going to be looking at personal finance. Now, what is personal finance? We all know what finance is. We have heard it at home. We have heard it on the television. We have heard it in the church. We have heard it in our environment. Finance. When we hear finance, what comes to our mind? Money. Money. That's what comes to our mind when we hear finance. Now we are going to look at how we are going to manage our personal finance. Now we have objectives for this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you're supposed to know 3 things. The first one is you should know how to define personal finance and the sources of finances for individuals. The second one, you will learn how to define a budget. The third one, mention the uses of budget. Now let's take them one after the other. What is personal finance? Personal finance is concerned with how we manage our money that are available to us in order to support our needs or undertakings. Personal finance is how we manage the money that comes to us, whether they are salaries or they are profits that we make from our businesses. That's what personal finance is. It is the income and expenditure of an individual within a given period of time. The income, take note, I said it is the income and expenditure of an individual within a specific period of time. It can be weekly, it can be monthly, it can be yearly, depending on how your income comes in. Now, it explains the way people make their budgets, how they save and spend money over a period of time. Now, let's look at that. We make money in different ways. Through salaries, through profits that we make from businesses, through gifts, through loans, and so on. And we also save. A percentage of every income that comes to an individual is supposed to be saved. Because when you make money and you spend everything at once, what if you have unforeseen circumstances? What will you do? So in order for you to learn how to manage your finance, that's where the budget will come in. We will get to that. There are steps to take when we are managing our finances. What are the steps? First, assessment. Assessment. When you're assessing something, it means you are checking how this money is coming. Some people get salaries every month. That's after 30 days. Some people get daily pay. They work on the daily basis and then they earn their salaries. Some, they go into a contract and they don't get money until after 3 months or until after 6 months. It depends. So steps to manage our personal finance, we said number one, assessment. Assessment. Then we have number two, setting goals. Setting goals. Setting goals. Now, if we must succeed in managing our finances, we must learn how to set goals. Now, as a child, your mom can give you money, your daddy can give you money, it can be from your uncle, it can be from anybody. Now, if you must learn how to manage money, you start it now. How? For instance, you are giving 2,000 naira, or as the case may be, and you don't want to spend everything. What do? You set goals. This is what I want to buy. How much will it cost? This is what I want to keep. And then you're able to save. You're able to spend not more than necessary at a particular time. So goals help you to save. When you don't set goals, you see anything and you go for it. Anything your mind just tell you to buy, that's what you go for. Now we have the third one. The third one is creating a goal. Now after you have set the goal, after you finish setting the goal, you create it. How do you create it? You write it down. You write it down. Because sometimes when you make plans and you don't put them down in your notebook or in your notepad or in a jotter, you tend to spend your money on the things you did not plan to spend money on. You just see anything, you like it. Maybe you wanted the money to be for shoes, and then on your way to your friend's place, you saw a shirt. You can change your mind. Oh, this shirt is lovely. This shirt is beautiful. But if you have it written down, you are able to follow it. Because you have it with you all the time. This is what you want to spend your money for. And so you are not moved because you're following what you have already created. You follow your goal as you created it. Now we have the fourth one, execution. We have the execution.
Now, after you have created your goals, you execute it. This is a time for you to now act. You have drawn out what you want to do. You start. You make sure you're not distracted. Number one, I want to pay my rent. Number two, okay, I don't have crayon. I want to buy crayons. Number three, okay, I want to get cake. Okay, number four, I want to do this. You just follow them accordingly, the way you created them. In that way, you are able to execute your goals, the way you set them and created them, and then you achieve success from it. Now we have number 5, monitoring and reassessment. Now, number 5, monitoring and reassessment. This is very important. Monitoring and reassessment, very, very important. Now, when you set your goals and you don't monitor it, there's every tendency that you will break away from the goals you have set, because you're not monitoring it, you're not checking it. For instance, you're not even carrying the book you created your goals in around. So sometimes it's very important that you go back to that goal that you have created to check if you're still on track with it. That's why monitoring is very, very important. Right now, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue. You're welcome back. Now we are going to continue from where we stopped before the break. We talked about monitoring our set goals. Now we'll go right straight into the next one, a budget. What is a budget? That's a budget. What is a budget? A budget is a statement which shows the expected income and expenditure of an individual within a given period of time. A budget shows the income and expenditure of an individual within a given period of time. That is what a budget is. A budget shows you how your income comes to you and how you're spending it. It is very important for us to have a budget, so that whenever we have income, we plan it. Budget simply means planning. It is simply planning. Now, we have our parents at home. Sometimes you go to them, oh mommy, I want to buy something. I saw something on my way from school. I love it. I want to buy it. And she'll be like, look darling, I don't have money for that. I have planned for this month, and that shirt is not part of it. That's because she has drawn a plan. She has made her budget, and bringing in that shirt you saw on the way is going to tamper with it. Now that is what a budget is. It is a statement that shows your income and expenditure for a given period of time. Now we are going to look at the uses of a budget. What are the uses of a budget? It controls one's personal behavior. A budget controls one's personal behavior. How? Now, when your salary or your income for a month is, say, 20,000 naira, you have your light bills to pay, you have water rates, you have other bills you are paying for your television and so on. Now, you don't just get your salary and begin to spend it. No, you draw out a budget for that 20,000 naira. Now, it controls one's personal behavior. How? After you have made these plans, you make sure that no matter your desire for something else that is not in that budget, you don't go outside that budget. So you see that drawing the plan controls you, it disciplines you. Now we have the second point. It prevents waste or reckless spending. A budget prevents waste or reckless spending. Now there are some people, they can't give account of the money that comes to them on a daily basis, on a monthly basis. They just spend. They see a red shoe, they like it. They see a blue shoe, they like it. They see a green cap, they like it. Anything they see on the way, they like it. As long as there is money in their pockets, they get it. Now, that's reckless spending. You don't spend money anyhow. You don't see anything on the road, you just fall in love with it and then you pay for it. That's reckless spending. Now, as an individual who wants to manage finances, who does not want to go bankrupt very soon, you draw a plan and make sure you follow it strictly. Now we have the third use of a budget. It authorizes expenditure. How? For example, you go out with your mom to the market or to the groceries and you want to get something, and then suddenly you see something that you really like, maybe a pair of shoes. Then you tell her, oh mom, I love that shoe, I like to have it. She's just going to quickly go through the list of the items she wants to buy, because she does not want to get something for you that is not in the list, and at the end of the day she can't buy the things she actually came to the market to buy. So she will go through it and tell you, oh, I'm sorry dear, we can't buy a pair of shoes today because it's not part of our plans for today. So you see, it authorizes expenditure. So with that act of checking her list, she's trying to tell you that she does not have the authority to buy you the shoes, but the budget has the authority. Is that clear? Now we have the fourth use of budget. It helps for easy adjustments in case of fluctuation in prices of goods and services. Sometimes you make your budget, and maybe for instance you already wrote down in your budget that you're going to buy a pair of shoes for 5,000 naira, and just before you get to the market you started hearing on television or radio that the importation prices of goods have increased, or taxes have increased, or something just happened but the prices are no longer the same. What would you do? You need to go back to your budget. You make adjustments to see if that shoe can still be bought. That is what budget helps us to do. Now, when we started this lesson, I want to quickly go back to where we started from, personal finance. We started from the definition of personal finance, where we said it is checking how our money comes and how we are spending it, how we are managing it, how we save, how we spend. And we went on to say that we must make budgets if we must learn how to manage our finance properly. And then we went on to the uses of budget, and we were told that budget authorizes expenditure. It helps us to make easy adjustments, and then it also helps us to control our personal behaviors. So that is what we have learned today, and I believe that you will be able to start managing your own finance. You're not too young to manage your finances as students. You can start it now. Because when you start now as young children, by the time you become an adult, it becomes very easy. You know you don't spend recklessly. So you have an assignment to be submitted to us through the phone numbers that are going to be displayed on the screen. You do it before the next class. Please do not forget, as students, let's not relax at home and say, okay, no teacher is going to flog me, I'm at home, I'm doing it. Please make sure you study everything you have learned today so that you will be able to answer the question. Now, what is our assignment for today? State 5 importance of budget. Very simple. But I want you to do it in your own words. Don't copy what I have just said. Just try to build out something on your own. Use your own words to answer it. State 5 importance of budget. I believe you have learned something today. Read your books, study hard, and till I come your way next time, I remain your teacher, Mercy Oside. Goodbye.
Hooray! Celebration TV Clock 7